Hello from the very autumnal forest. It's towards the end of September, and yeah, look at all the leaves. Isn't it lovely? And it's a bit moist today, a bit rainy, but I'm sure if you are in Australia or somewhere hot, this would be lovely. Let me stop for a minute so you can hear the rain. Pretty nice. So I thought you'd like that. I thought you'd like the rain. Moving house next weekend. I got a house, thanks for asking. Yeah, we found a lovely house, which led me to think about manifestation, and then about success, and about how much of a trap it can be. Because I could tell you all the things that I did to help me get this house. And this house is like way better than I thought. I wouldn't have imagined it, how great it is. I'm not going to tell you too much about it. Let's discover it together. But it's brilliant. I'll just tell you one thing about it. There's 3 donkeys on the property. Because from talking to people about it, telling them the different things, I seem to forget everything else when I mention the donkeys. So the donkeys are lovely. But I could say, you know, I could trace the different things that I did to help get that house. And I could very easily kind of go, wow, I manifested this fantastic house. Now, I'm going to teach you how to do it for $9.95. All you have to do is sign up to my seminar, my webinar, buy my book, listen to my podcast, and so on and so forth. And the difficulty with that is, because you see it everywhere, is that it leaves out one crucial component, and that is people's stories. Because it's obviously part of my story for that house to come, from me and that house to come together. And by story I mean from working with lots of people over the years, and this particularly started with working with people with life-threatening kind of illnesses. The question of why do some people get better and why do some people get sick, stay sick, or some people die, began to really press itself on me. And as a result, I came to see that everybody has this question that they're working out about themselves. It's very personal, it's different for every person, but it's like their whole life hinges on this question. And it starts with, you know, why they were born, at the time they were born, into the time they were born, why they were born, the gender they were born, regardless of how that goes in the future, why they were born to the parents they were born, in the country they were born, so on. Because we all kind of, if you stopped somebody on the street, they might say, well, that's just random. But, you know, just between you and you, in the dead of night or in the mirror, you know it's not. You know it's significant. You don't know what the significance is, but you know it's significant. So the question is in that kind of area. Meaning, we're trying to work out, everyone seems to be working out something about themselves. For some people it's to do with power. For some people it's to do with goodness or badness. For some people it's to do with strength. It's different for everybody. And that's why you can look at someone else's life and you can sort of see the glaring mistakes they're making. It's so easy to do with somebody else's life. You just go, oh my God, why are they doing that? Why are they with that person? It's so obviously wrong for them. And so on and so forth. But from the person's point of view, it makes sense. And in another way, it makes sense with their story and what they're figuring out, or their question. I talk about this quite a bit in my book, Why Do We Get Sick? Why Do We Get Better? A wellness detective manual. And part of the detective work in that is about wondering about your question. and how it fits with your own particular set of symptoms or ailments. So I could tell you all the things I did to help me get that house. Some of them are very practical, some of them are very energetic, some of them are very magical. But that doesn't mean that that's what you have to do to manifest something. Because I don't know why it worked, because this is not the first house. There was I knew we'd have to move house a year ago. So feels like went through about 20 houses. And each one I fell in love with. And each one I imagined myself in. I was like, yeah, this is the one. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. And then it didn't happen. It's like, ugh. And yet another part of me kind of knew, well, it's not that one. It's still on its way. And, it was quite down to the wire. Like, we knew we had to move out at the end of the month. And I only found this house 2 weeks ago. So 3 weeks before the moving date, that's when I found the house. So again, I could go, now I know how to do it. I know how to manifest. I don't. I mean, I'll repeat. If there are things I want in the future, I'll certainly repeat some of the things I did. And hopefully it will fit with my story. But it mightn't. It might not work. And if I told you the things I did, I'm not being mysterious about it. Like some of the things I did was, I did make a list of the things I wanted, or that Maggie and I wanted in the new house. And I'd say if it was a 15-point list, this house is about 11 or 12 of those points, which is amazing because I'd forgotten about the list. I did put that list up on a very visible place, but I've done that with other things and it hasn't worked out, so I couldn't say for definite that that's what did it. The chain of people that led me to this house started with somebody asking me if I would do those meditations in the town square, which I was reluctant to do because I'm not great in big kind of social groups, but a deeper part of me said, yeah, do it. So I did it. And when I was saying yes and getting ready for it, I had a feeling it would lead to this house, to the house. But I didn't know that for definite. I've got lots of feelings about lots of things. It doesn't necessarily follow. And I do that anyway. Like, I generally, if I sort of have a deep part of me says do something, I'll just do it. Whether I think there's something in it for me or not. I did have a strong sense that it would work out. I didn't get despairing much, particularly as the time got on. I was under pressure. Felt under pressure, but still had a feeling of now it'll work out. Because everything always does for me. Can't remember what other things I did. There were other things I did. The point is, though, when you come across somebody on YouTube or the internet, and they're saying that they have the solution to your problem, whether it's dating, cryptocurrency, real estate, weight loss, I would encourage you to include the caveat that they're not including, which is, this may or may not work, and if it does, or if it doesn't work, it may not be because I'm a failure and I didn't follow the plan properly. It's because it's not part of my story. And I should add that that is not a little get out of doing anything, or I don't mean to use that as a spiritual bypass, meaning, oh well, shit happens, man. It's not part of my story. As I said, every house that came along, I was like, this is the one, and I was crushed when it didn't happen. So you have to kind of not be half-hearted. Or, it's that meme I like putting up, it says, don't half-ass anything, use your whole ass. So, but I don't think that's going to be a problem with you. I think you're probably more like me in that you'd have more of a space to kind of go, oh, I didn't do it right. Look at that person, they've got all that wealth or success or whatever, and they told me how to do it, and I'm not successful. So it must be me. I must be screwing up in some way or another. Well, I'd encourage you to really look at that. Look at other people's stories as they play out. See if it makes sense to you, what I'm saying about the question and how everyone's figuring out something. That's why people can behave in such seemingly irrational ways and do seemingly crazy things from your perspective, because you're not in their story, you're not figuring out their question. And then you can kind of reflect on it to your own life. I should point out though, I don't think you're supposed to know what your question is, in the same way as you don't know what the end of the movie is before you watch it, because it's fun to watch the movie. It's fun to spend your life figuring out this question that you don't really know what it is, but you can get close and you can continually ask. It's a paradox. You ask, I wonder what my question is, knowing that you're not going to get an answer, but you still have to ask with all your heart. So, going back to the online gurus, or the online people telling you how to be successful, yeah, go for success. But if it doesn't work out, then consider how that maybe fits with your story, and to be a bit kinder to yourself and go, well, I tried my absolute hardest and it didn't work out. I did everything they said, but it didn't work out. So I'm not going to give myself a hard time about it. I'm just going to put it on the whiteboard as a possible that this was more to do with my question, and to keep looking in different directions, not give up, not become despairing, still aim for the thing that you want, but then keep looking at why you want it, what do you think it'll be like when you get it. I keep turning it around. If it doesn't happen easily, keep turning it around inside, looking at it from this perspective of, how does this fit with my question? So, my new book, webinar, and website, How to Manifest Houses That You Want to Rent, will be out at the end of the week. No, it won't. All right, so it was a great retreat yesterday. If you didn't come, it was lovely. Next one will be the end of the month. Last Saturday of every month. That's when the retreats are on. And they're fabulous. And the next one will be coming from the new house. In fact, meditations will be coming from the new house. Everything will be coming from the new house, including the videos. I won't be walking in this forest as much, which is a shame because it's much further away. Like at the moment, this forest is like 5 minutes from the house, and where we're going to be, it'll be like 20 minutes. I'll still come, but not as much. But that doesn't mean I won't have access to a lot of forest. Okay, that's another little clue about the new property. Okay, have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you again soon.